All right, so before I start the video, I don't mean the edge where you're whacking off your own self and you're about to, just reach climax and you stop and you let it go down. I don't mean that. All right, what I'm kind of referring to is in this book by David Data called The Way of the Superior Man, right? Chapter 8, lean just beyond your edge, right? So a man's growth is optimized if he leans just beyond his edge, his capacities, and his fears, right? When he's leaning slightly beyond the edge of fear and discomfort, and constantly in everything that he does, that's when his growth is optimized and he can conquer his own fears and become one with his own fears and anxieties. So the way I took this, right, I took it pretty blatantly as it is, right? I have to try and see what my capacities are in life and everything I do in life, and I have to keep pushing and pushing, but don't push to a point to where you're always failing, right? There's like a sweet spot to it. You want to lean just slightly beyond, right? Just slightly into the precipice of fear. And then this way you're able to see the progress you're able to make. You're able to make progress and you're able to get used to fears and right into your anxieties. And then this way you can take on greater fears and greater actions and greater anxieties, which will increase your capacity even further, right? Think of it as progressive overload when you work out, right? Every workout, you might add a rep, you might add a set, you might add a different progression or something like that. And now you've become stronger or more enduring or whatever the case may be. So it's like I kind of wrote down things in my life that I want to do or that I should try to do better, and I have to, try and give 100% of myself. And I have to be conscious enough to know that, like, okay, am I cheating on this? Am I cutting corners or taking shortcuts? Am I being lazy? Am I slacking off? What is it that I'm doing that is keeping me from reaching my fullest potential, right? What are the ways that I'm holding myself back? Are there things in my life that I need to eliminate that are causing me to hold myself back? Because your number one enemy is yourself, right? So if you're over here, dicking around, doing whatever the case may be, not worrying or caring about anything, you're gonna end up, being your number one hater, right? Not even the random guy on the street is gonna hate you as much as yourself. So you have to be able to, like, approach any situation, no matter how it makes you feel, and try and thrive within it, right? Because having that contentious point, having that point to where you're just like nervous and you're sweating, and your palms are sweaty, and your legs are shaking, and you're choking on your words, blah blah blah, right? That's where you're gonna get growth, right? Like maybe you should talk to that girl that you've been eyeballing, right? Maybe you should apply to that job. Maybe you should work more hours, right? Maybe go to that event that your friend invited you to, right? Because like we can all make excuses as to why we can't come up or do anything, or why we can't come up with anything, but we're not really applying ourselves. We're applying a mindset to where we think that we don't have the ability to do it, so we just don't even try. Or sometimes we'll try and overachieve in a way to where we keep pushing and pushing, and that's just going to reach us to fatigue and failure and just wear and tear, right? And we won't be able to be present in that moment because we're just trying to avoid our fears and our anxieties by constantly pushing, right? There's kind of two sides of the spectrum here, right? People who don't do anything and people who are doing way too much, right? People who don't do anything, they don't even approach the situation, so they can't even know what they're actually capable of. And people who are doing way too much, they're doing so much to the point to where it's as if they're avoiding what could be their true purpose or their true intention when doing something. It's almost as if they're just going through the motions. And then if they're doing, whatever task or, whatever things, and they build on top of that over and over, they're just going to get burnout, right? And they're going to get tired, and they're going to get lazy, and then they're going to end up falling into the first category of the people who don't even do anything, right? Because they're trying to achieve so much and then they miss, right? You aim big, you miss big, right? I mean, I believe in half of that, but you aim big, you miss big, and then you're gonna feel bad and horrible, like, oh I'm horrible, I'm crap, I'm booty cheeks, I'm booty butt licking cheeks at this, man, I suck. And then you're gonna be in the first category of people who are like, underachievers. They don't do anything. They just kind of sit there and they just kind of like live passively, and they take the easy way out, right? So you have to again just lean just slightly beyond those fears and anxieties, right? And a great way to do that is to also have a really good support system, like just having friends or family members that will allow you to push yourself, right? Because it's great to kind of see your own self through other people, and to see how other people observe you. So this way you can kind of like know yourself better, right? People like you might not be able to observe that like you're lazy, or to observe that you're slacking, or to observe that you're, I don't know, whatever bad habits you have, right? But other people can, right? Because we might not notice that thing. It's kind of like when you have a stank booty, and you might not be able to smell that. Your armpits are stinky, whatever, and you can't smell that. You're nose blind to it, but then another person will notice that, and they tell you, "Hey, man, you smell like shit. Put on some deodorant," right? It's kind of like that, just with anything, right? So if you have people who really care about you and really want you to succeed and really want you to see you up in life, go to them and ask them, right? Not everybody's gonna be like, oh nah, bro, you're this, you're horrible at this, you're bad at this. You have to ask people this, because nobody wants to go out and like, just intentionally tell their friend that they're horrible at a given action, or at a given situation. Now, if you do have people like that in your life, that's probably great, because this way you already have a system into which you're already being told off, right? You're already being told well you can improve, you're already being critiqued, right? And you have to be able to accept those critiques from your friends, because like, listen, if you have this strong support group and you're all on the same path of bettering yourselves, you're all just going to succeed with each other, right? There might be some miscreants here and there might be some people who fall out. But if you're consistent on it and you enjoy and appreciate the criticism of your friends from these support groups, then just getting to your edge, leaning beyond your edge, is going to be so much better and so much easier, because you're going to have almost like a community behind you, right? But if you don't have a support system, again, you still have to rely on yourself, right? At the end of the day, it's just you, right? You can have people telling you what to do. You can have posters on your wall. You can have notifications. You can have timers. You can have visual representations of what you have to do. But if you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it, right? And that's on you, right? That is purely on you, right? It is no one else's responsibility to hold your life accountable, right? Barely even your parents, up to a certain point, right? Because really think about it, like when you turn like at least like 14, 15, your parents are going to expect a lot more individuality and a lot more independence from you. And you have to be able to develop that. And if you're not, like, you're going to be so behind in life, by the time like you reach your mid 20s or something like that. So you have to be very aware of these things, and you have to develop a certain awareness to know what is it that you're not doing right. So we all kind of have this thing in our life where we do put 100% of ourselves into. So kind of analyze everything else like that. So maybe you're incredibly great at mechanics, something like that, fixing cars, right? You devote 100% of yourself to fixing cars, right? And then you see that you want to read more books, but you only, give like 20% of that. So kind of take the same energy and the same mindset you would when fixing cars onto reading books, right? You have to ask, like, is this my full capacity? Can I devote more? Can I develop more of this? What can I take away from my life? What can I sacrifice in order to make these proper changes to improve myself, for the better, for the long run? And you have to do that with so many different aspects of your life. So it's on you as an individual to see what those are.